All right, guys, well, it's 5 o'clock, which means the workday is done, which means it's time to clock in for the night shift. Had a busy day today, and I'm gonna have a busy evening. I'm gonna do some small block teardown. Ford small block teardown. 351 Windsor small block teardown. Now, those of you who have watched this channel in the past couple of days are gonna be familiar about what I'm talking about. My 351 Windsor that came out of an E-van, like an E250, E350 from 1995, was gonna be just a quick little budget junkyard repower for my 1988 Ford LTD. The idea was, we're just gonna take it, smash it in there, or we're gonna take it, we're gonna put some bearings in it, then we're gonna smash it in there. I put it up to you guys, and you guys said, Austin, before you do that, what you probably need to do is pull a rod cap and a main cap and see exactly what it looks like, and then we'll make our decision from there. Well, I did exactly that. I pulled the number 4 main cap, and I pulled the number 7 rod bearing, and they didn't look good. We were down to the brass, which is not good. So that means the bearings are huffed. The one that was in front of that didn't look terrible, but it's still a situation we got to worry about. The question at this point in time is that wear that we see in the bearing, did we see anywhere on the crankshaft? And the answer is, I don't know. But at this point in time, I am not comfortable with it, and you guys are not comfortable with me just putting a set of bearings in this thing and letting it rock and roll. So I am going to tear this motor all the way down to nothing. It is a 144,000 mile ran wind pulled junkyard motor. Everything you guys would buy from a random junk guy. I put it in the trunk of my 1988 Ford LTD, and I drove 2 hours back to the shop, and it sits essentially where it is. I've got the accessories and everything off of it. The entire serpentine kit is off. The oil pan did get destroyed by a random accident in the shop. Not a big deal because the LTD needs a different oil pan anyway from the truck. But today, I'm going to tear this entire thing down. We're going to pull the heads off. We're going to pull the rotating assembly out of it. Obviously, I got to pull the rest of the front assembly off this thing as well. And we're going to see exactly what we've got. We're going to determine whether or not this is a buildable candidate. Right now, I am $600 deep into this little 351 Windsor project. If it ends up being huffed, it is what it is. It sucks, but it is what it is. If it's buildable or something I could just kind of throw a camshaft in and do a couple of things and then rock and roll, life is good. That's kind of the one that I'm hoping for. I would really, really like to stay away from having to do pistons. That's the big thing. Because, I'm going to get you a little bit personal here. I am not good at doing things on a budget. I allow projects to escalate very rapidly. And if this needs pistons, that means I got to pull the rods and pistons apart, which means I'm probably going to have to recon the rods. And reconditioning the rods, putting new ARP hardware in them, I'm going to just go ahead and put new rods in it. If the crankshaft is damaged, I need to put a new crankshaft in it. Well, if I'm going to put a new crankshaft in it, I'm going to put new rods in it, and I need to put new pistons in it, I'm just going to put a stroker kit in it. And then we have with a 427 stroker kit. And then I don't have a budget build, which is what you guys tell me you want me to do. And I honestly want to see if I'm able to do this. I don't know that I'm capable of it. I've never done this before. I've never done anything within a budget as far as car builds go. Engine builds, definitely. And I want to see if I can do this. So we're going to take this thing down. We're going to see what we've got. We're going to hope for the best. If it sucks, I don't know what I'm going to do. Hopefully we don't have to have that conversation. Need to take the rest of the front cover off. I will pull the valve cover off this side, which I haven't done yet. We'll see what it looks like. We'll pull the spark plugs out, see what the cylinders look like. No idea. I've never seen this motor run, so I don't really know what I got. And we'll just kind of go through this thing together and see where we go. Don't know where this ends up. Don't know how this is going to go. This could be a disaster. It could go well. That's what the mystery of YouTube is all about, right? Let's get back to work. The part of Workbench shall be played by my 2003 Pontiac Vibe GT in all of its glory here. Plenty of room in the back here for a small block Ford torn apart. If I need to lay down the seats, I can. Those do go flush, nice and flat. Should be plenty of room. I'll go ahead and pull the valve covers off on this side because I haven't done that yet, just to see what we look like in there. I'm not expecting anything any worse than that side. And then we'll move on to our water pump and front cover stuff. Oh boy, here we go. How bad is this gonna get? Hopefully my lifters are okay. We'll see how that works out. This is a roller cam motor, which is great, which means, well, hopefully, which means my roller cam lifters are okay. We can just slide the camshaft out and slide a new one in. You don't have to replace hundreds of dollars worth of lifters. Get all of our valve cover bolts out, and then this one is not a 7/16, it's not a 3/8, it's not an 11, it's not a 10. It's I don't know what it is now, but it's about to be a 10 with a hammer. What a stupid problem to have. You know, not that I want to start complaining this early in a video, but these are valve cover bolts, folks. Like, you don't need to have these things torqued down to like 40 foot-pounds, right? This is one of the frustrating things about hot rodding. And I get it, it's very frustrating. Like, this process should be pretty straightforward and easy. All I gotta do is put this thing on that thing, turn the thing, and it pops right out, right? And then an hour and a half later of cursing and screaming and throwing stuff, you still don't have the bolt out. And I'm looking at maybe using a friggin' angle grinder to remove a bolt of a valve cover. Okay, sorry. Moving on. So much of what we do in this hobby is unrednecking the redneckery that was done before you rednecked it. Finally. All right, let's get this valve cover off. What do you think? Is it gonna look just the same as this one? Nice and pretty? No loose rockers? No broken springs? No problems? No bent push rods? No issues? Or is it gonna be coked up and terrible? Oh, those don't look too bad at all. Don't look too bad at all. It's a little loose, but that's okay. Not bad. Somebody at least did some maintenance on this motor, I would say. Go ahead and pull the spark plugs out of this thing too, because that could give us a really quick and dirty understanding of what this thing has been through in its previous life as a work truck. That one spins. Yep, they all spins. A couple of these. Yep. All right. Yeah, let's pull spark plugs out. These are rather stuck in here, but got some. That one's probably fine. Got some fancy schmancy 4-poster spark plugs, eh? Ain't that interesting? Some Bosch. I don't know what those are. 4505s? Huh. It's not what I would have put in it, but okay. Oh, that's gonna freaking break. Are you serious? Man, those things are in there. That one worries me. Not break the spark plugs off in the holes. Could hit it with a power tool, but I don't like power tools. I'm burning calories this way, boys. Right here. This is burning calories. It's like going to the gym, except for better. Right? Better. Well, they all look about the same. Obviously there's carbon buildup on the outside of the plug. You can see. Whether that was from exhaust leaks from the actual manifolds that sat right here, or whether that was leaks from around the spark plug, who knows? I'm gonna kind of tighten that. Nope. Ooh. Had to upgrade to the big stick. pulled threads out. Let's put, run this one back in here. Man, if I just pulled threads out of this head. Even if this was running when pulled, it was certainly not running well. They are all pretty impressively carbon fouled. And they're Bosch plugs, which means they've been done at least once. This would have come with Motorcrafts in it from the factory. But whatever, at least that's done. I guess we could probably go ahead and pull the heads. Leave the front cover on, just pull the heads, see what the head gaskets look like. Hey guys, thanks. Skip a step. Pull the heads off so we know what that looks like right now. Well, you can tune out quickly out of the video. By the way, just FYI, thanks for being here. Thanks for being with Automotive Adventures with Austin, my own little personal corner of the YouTube internet. Every minute you spend here makes me money. Doesn't cost you a dime. All it costs you is your time. And I make money to spend on stupid projects like this. So thank you very much for being here. I truly do appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and pull these head bolts out. And we're going to see what these head gaskets look like. Because why not? That's going to tell us something for sure. There was definitely coolant that was left in this thing and was all kinds of sludged up there. You can see how nice that looks. Not overly worried about that. Possible it's got a failed head gasket. Sure, it's possible. These E-vans were not exactly the easiest thing to ever work on when they were in the vans. 302 and 351 are essentially exactly the same motors, just slightly taller deck. As far as vertically speaking wise, it goes a little higher up that way. Otherwise, they're basically the same thing as the Ford 302, which is what's in my 1988 LTD. So it will fit exactly in the same hole, same motor mount, same accessories, same everything, just slightly taller. Which is why these things also had an option of coming with a 351 Windsor in them if you had the police package, which I do not have. But as long as this thing works out, I will have better than a police package. Hey, and on a budget. Hopefully none of these break away easy. Although, if we're honest, it doesn't really matter. As long as the head's not cracked. Not a big deal. Even if the head gasket's bad. All of our bolt holes clear, one bolt left in each head. That way when I pry on it, it doesn't end up on my foot. A little trick I learned from back in Nam. Leave one of them on there. It looks like those heads already kind of came loose. See, it's already popped loose there. So it's not going to take much to get these things to come off of here. Hey, look at these little bitty heads. Aren't those cute? Let's get those loose and we'll see what we got going on with the head gaskets. That was easy. Alright, let's see if I can not drop this on my foot. Right, there we go. Last bolt out. Push rods all look straight. That's good. I don't see anything that screams at me as far as a head gasket goes. Looks okay. Just very, very, very carboned. E7. All right. I don't think that looks bad at all, boys. I don't think that looks bad at all. You guys see anything I don't see that concerns you? I don't see anything where the coolant passages have worn through or rusted through. Cylinder's bore looks okay. Obviously there's some crap in the cylinder. Not super surprising. Really not even that much ring ridge. Let's get a light on this. That's one that's got some rust on it. Hopefully that'll just clean up with a little bit of honing. I would assume those are standard pistons. Okay. Not bad on this side. As I said, the idea with this is to keep this very budget-minded. The whole point of this process is to show that you can buy and build something for $5,000 or less in today's market, today's world, which is admittedly not that easy. You just have to go a little bit outside of the what you would think process, or maybe even the platform. 351 Windsor is a tried and true power plant. You know, it powered all kinds of things for all kinds of years to really, really good speeds. So you can make some really good power with this thing, and I've got $600 wrapped up in it, including a serpentine drive, so not that bad. Camshaft, intake, carburetor, even a nitrous kit. We're still going to be under $2,000 in the motor-wise to make this thing make, I don't know, 400 horsepower or so, somewhere in that range, 375, 400. I don't know, we'll see. But it should be a ton of fun, and also hopefully not break that T5 transmission that's in that 1988 LTD. We'll see. That's the plan. So the more I can find that's good, the better. Also, the better chances are that Austin actually builds himself something on a budget, which is admittedly not something I'm good at. Oh. Looks exactly like the other side. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. What do you guys think? I don't see anything as far as with coolant passages corroding real bad. Nothing that really concerns me. Is this the stock material for a Fomoco head gasket? I would assume so. I would imagine this is the original head gaskets to this thing. Surface looks okay. Valves look like they're okay. I would call this a win so far. A little bit of ring ridge on this, but not terrible. I don't see any evidence, obviously, of there's a pocket here as far as the piston goes, but there's no evidence of any kind of interaction between the pistons and the valves. I'm going to assume that that is a factory set of pistons in this thing. Can't imagine somebody would have done pistons in this, but better to know than not. Yeah, there's no stampings on that at all. I'm going to go ahead and assume that that's probably a factory. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there is. Right there. Y37. this side forward. So, you tell me, guys, is that a factory set of pistons? Normally there would be, normally speaking, if this was a set of aftermarket pistons, if they were overboard pistons, there would be like 030 on them, where they were bored over, 30 over, or 060 or whatever it is. You'd see that cut into the piston. Given nothing is there, I would say these are probably the original pistons to this motor, which is just fine. Now, something we could talk about here is you can get pistons reasonably cheap for this thing that would give me a little bit more compression. Or you have a couple of other tricks you could do with thinner head gaskets, or shaving the heads down a tad bit to be able to bump compression up. I'm not real worried on that. I don't really want to go balls out as far as compression goes, because this is going to be a driven hot rod. I'm not looking for, like, you know, something that would be pump gas but actually runs on E85. This is going to be a at most 93 octane build. So I'm not looking to do anything crazy on the compression side of things. But what I do also want to say is the fact that we're probably going to end up throwing nitrous at this thing. So it would be nice to make sure that our head gaskets are good and our sealing is really, really good. So, you know, a good set of head gaskets and maybe some upgraded head bolts, maybe in the plans. Did they put these on with RTV? I don't know. Maybe. It could be somebody did an intake manifold at some point. Anyways, yeah, so that's good. Yippee skippy. Let's pull the front cover off, shall we? Keep moving forward. Heads, good shape. I like it. We're good with that. And hopefully these guys come off. My when I was tearing down an AMC 304, I had one of these through bolts get stuck in this aluminum cover. Let me tell you, that was not a good experience. I actually ended up with a rather sizable bruise right there. Not my best moment. It's okay. Everything's gonna come apart. I haven't used any of my Angry Farmer though. Hey, we should probably do that. Spray some Angry Farmer penetrating oil. Not sponsored. I just believe in their marketing. Angry Farmer. That's a little Death Rider guy going on there. Let's just go ahead and lube everything up. Everything's easier with lube. Also, when you have oil leaks, conveniently, it also works as lubrication. Make sure you don't have a stuck bolt situation. Clearly, this thing had a few oil leaks. That should get us where we need to be. See if that comes off. Well, one came out. Yep. I knew this was never going to go the way I wanted it to. Son of a... yeah. Probably not reusing those. Those two did come out. They were a little tricky, but they did come out. This one came free, but now is lodged in that cover and won't come free. Looks like we got one big bolt there, and then our water pump should come off. Other than that guy. Throw some more penetrating oil in it. Hoo-wah, we got a win. How about them apples? Yes, sir. Just proper amount of leverage. We'll let the rest of the way off and we'll get our water pump off. Yeah. We're not going to reuse that. There's the original FOMOCO part. Yeah, we'll recycle that. I have to figure out how to get that bolt out of the top there, or what's left of it. Dang you. A couple of quick little bolts here. Got 4 that hold the pulley to the balancer. This guy should just come right off. Give that guy a whack with a hammer. Whacked it with a hammer. Came off. Okay. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Don't know if I'm going to be able to show you this, but inside of here there's a crank pulley bolt. Got to get that guy off, and then we could off that. Off the snout of the crankshaft. And then that opens up the rest of the bolts to pull off the front cover. There we go. A couple bolts here, a couple bolts there. Bob's your uncle. Get her off. Look at me, guys. I have dirty hands. I'm doing things myself. Look at me, go me. Listen, if I can do it, you can do it. So why are you sitting there watching me? Thanks. Thanks for sitting there watching me, by the way. Thanks. And just like that, crank bolts out. No big deal. Yeehaw. Now, I should be able to pull that guy forward and off. On to the only part of this video where I need to use some kind of a specialty tool. Pulley puller set. Bolt type pulley puller set. As you can see, comes with a various amount of accoutrement. And I notice this is a brand new one, and you're going to say, Austin, why in the world do you need a brand new pulley puller set? Why don't you already have one? And I would say you are correct. That is a good point, and I would say I do have one. I just have absolutely no idea where it is. None. So, in order to me not steal one from one of my compatriots here in one of their toolboxes, I went ahead and bought myself one, and it's one I can take back and forth to and fro from work to home, because it occurs to me I still need to pull the crank pulley off of the AMC 360 that's sitting on the floor of my garage with the crankshaft in it, to be able to get that thing torn apart all the way to take it to Bob's to start working on my AMC 360 project. That, of course, I need to have another engine build. If you've never been here before, you're gonna quickly understand that I do a lot, way too many things, too many irons in the fire. But I've got an AMC 360 build that's supposed to be a supercharged AMC 360 build. Man, that sun is serious today, isn't it? Look at that, how beautiful am I in the sunset? AMC 360 supercharged build, which is going to be built for my 1979 AMC AMX, which ought to be fun. The idea was to be able to make Hellcat power out of something old school, so we'll put some sort of supercharger setup on on an old school AMC V8, which should be great, make great old school noises, and make great power. Obviously, that's a little bit back burner. I got a lot of other pressing issues at the moment that I got to take care of. I need to shut up and put my camera down so I can get this open, because doing this with one hand is not working. Back in a second. Alrighty. From my local Harbor Freight, fresh out of the store, directly to here. Let's see if I can not dump this stuff all over the place. Hey, there we go. Alright. So, pretty simple situation. If you haven't ever used one of these, I'd be surprised. But if you haven't, let me explain how this works. This thing goes on here. You want to do one of these things, get your bolts lined up. You run a bolt through here, presses on there, pulls this back. Bob's your uncle on one of those things. Makes sense? If not, let me show you. Okay, that bolt right there is that bolt right there. Runs right through that thing right there. This thing right here is your tip. It goes in yonder. You got various different sizes of tips depending on what you're working on. That slides in there. And then this little doohickey goes on here, like so. You got to get your fingers lined up so that you're pulling on multiple different corners at a time. And then that thing, you essentially just crank down on this bit here, and it will drive this in, which pulls that out. That's all there is to it. And you got various different bolts depending on what, again, what you're working on, what thread pitch you need, how long you need. Depending on what your usage is. This is a multiple different unit kind of thing. Not sponsored by Harbor Freight or anything, but maybe if I, back in the day, would have been doing this for Sears, but Harbor Freight is where we all go for our tools anymore, so it is what it is. Made in China! But that's how life is nowadays. So it'll pull steering gears and you know, power steering pulleys and harmonic balancers and whatever else, depending on what you need. So I just got to figure out which bolts are the right bolts, run those through my little arms here, and we'll get her off. Alrighty, got our piece on there. Unfortunately, this only lines up with 2. Ideally, you're going to want to have 3 points of contact, but it is what it is. Doesn't fit that way, so we're going to do it this way. Now we just run this in with a drill. And it does that. Congratulations. You have successfully removed a harmonic balancer off your small block Ford. Yay! The crowd goes wild. Okay, put all of our tools away so we don't lose our stuff, and we can get to our front bolts. Let's see, we got a couple here on the front over here, a couple up here on the top. That front cover should come straight off. And then we'll roll this thing over, and we'll start pulling pistons and rods out of this thing. Hopefully, it's not a total disaster. So far, I'm okay with this. I'm not upset, other than the fact that I broke 1 bolt. Those guys came out nice and easy. Again, when you coat them with oil leaking, makes it easier to pull them out. These guys came loose nice and easy. 1/2-inch bolts, short guys. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I think that's all we got on here. Put those in my bolt bag. Save myself a couple $100 and making sure I have all of my hardware still. Obviously the pan's already gone, so there's nothing we got there. Otherwise you'd have the ones that come up through the bottom. So that's all done. So I think we could probably whack on this with a mallet, maybe give it a little bit of pry bar. She should come right off. Double roll of timing chain. I can't do this one-handed, or can I? Maybe. Maybe. Us and the one-handed YouTuber. Success. Huzzah. Oh, come on. The front seal. Okay. Not bad. How's our timing chain wear look? That's not good. Cam bolt removed. Should be able to just walk this guy forward here. Probably gonna need to get the pry bar. Okay, pry here, pry there, pry here, pry there. Ta-da! Double roll of timing chain is loose. That's got Ford part numbers on it also, so this has never been touched. Look, this is a virgin small block, buddy. Virgin Ford small block. I'm not going to be reusing this timing set. This will be going in the bin. Recycle it. We got our cam retaining plate here. It's got 2 bolts, one yaw. That comes off. And essentially we're done. We'll just roll this guy over. Probably need to pull my oil pressure sensor out of there. And we'll start pulling the rods and pistons out of this thing. We're close. We're getting there. We are getting there. You know, some of this is actually really kind of therapeutic. It's kind of relaxing. It's just taking things apart. Especially when you're in here by yourself and there's not anybody yelling at you or anything else going on in the world around us, where there's always crazy things going on in the world around us. It's kind of nice to be able to just kind of zone out in the evenings. Rich is the same way. Like, there's a lot that we have going on in our lives, and he's got a lot going on with his business professionally, obviously the shop here, as well as everything going on in his life personally. So a lot of times he will choose to come in here and work on the weekends instead of working during the work week and be able to get a whole lot more accomplished because there's nobody else here. You're not getting involved with, can you do this? Can you run here? Can you do that? The phone's ringing, customer this, customer that. Not that we don't love our customers, we do. But there's a lot of things we can accomplish sometimes when it's just kind of, you know, in the evening and you're in here working with the doors open and the sun's setting and nobody to bother you. It's kind of therapeutic. As long as bolts don't get stuck or broken. If they do, your therapy session goes right out the window. And then you may need to call a real therapist. Just a man and his small block Ford project. Enjoying a nice fall evening in Ohio. Little skinny guys. Little guys. There we go. Back, bottom. That's pretty simple. Okay. Make sure we bag that so we don't lose those bolts in that retaining plate. One of the most important things you can have. Ziploc baggies. While I'm at this point, I am actually going to go ahead and pull the spider here from the center. All of this obviously needs to come apart to be able to get cleaned, so may as well just go ahead and pull that out, and I'll pull the lifters out of this thing as well, and then we can pull the camshaft out. So might as well just go ahead and get that done. I was kind of thinking about skipping that part, but don't skip it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be cleaned. Lots of crud. Lots and lots of crud. Keep those. Don't lose those. Another bag. Got our little dog bones here on each of the different lifter sets. We're going to disassemble this whole damn thing, so all of this needs to come apart. Everything needs to be cleaned. Oh, those lifters look fantastic. Very little radial scarring on that at all. We'll have to get Uncle Terry's professional opinion on that. Those look pretty good to me, boys. That saves us a boatload of money, man. A boatload of money. Whew. Man, that's a relief. Okay, I got all my lifters out, except that one. Everything moved out just fine. We got one that's stuck in the bore, which is not great. At least it came out. Doesn't look bad, does it? What do you think? I think we're okay, guys. I don't know why it was stuck in the bore. Well, whatever. Alright. All lifters are out. The nice thing is, so all the lifters are out. For those who are, maybe if this is your first video and you don't know what I'm doing here or why I'm doing this, this generation of 351 Windsors is a roller block. So it comes with roller lifters, which means I can also run a roller camshaft in it, which is a way better camshaft and way better chance of being able to survive than a flat tappet camshaft. There's not any flat tappet break-in process, which can be quite stressful. We just actually went through it on my Pontiac, my 350 non-HO build, which you can see here on the channel if you're interested. We broke that in on the dyno, but it's a process, and it's quite scary. If it doesn't go well, you end up taking the whole motor back apart. With the roller camshaft situation, you can basically just take a camshaft out, stick a camshaft in, rock and roll. They don't wear themselves to the lobes as well, or basically like a flat tappet does. So makes this process a whole heck of a lot easier. Now I've already run the camshaft bolt back into the camshaft, so I can just pull this camshaft straight out of this thing, which I'm not going to try to do with one hand, but that just walks straight out of here, and then we will roll this thing over, pull the pistons and rods out of it, and we'll know the final decision on what this thing looks like, if it's good, bad, or ugly. So far, I'm feeling pretty positive. Not all that great, but pretty positive. Ooh, this camshaft's got had some better days. Not that we were going to reuse this camshaft. See the lobes on there. See the wear lines on it. That one's a little flat. That one's a little flat. Question is how the bearings look. Not too bad. At least that front one. That would be a question. I think I'm just going to go ahead and put cam bearings in it regardless, but normally speaking, you can just reuse the cam bearings, put a new crankshaft in it, and rock and roll, and let's go. I'm not going to do that, but I could. I'm not worried about this that bad. It's not brass in any way. It's still silver. So those are probably okay to reuse if I wanted to. I don't see any scarring on the bearings where the camshaft rides on there, so I think we're okay. Obviously this camshaft is not going to give me the performance that I'm looking for, designed to move a truck or a van down the road, not a hot rod stick shift LTD. Got my pin pulled, so I should be able to just rotate this boy over. Hopefully not make a mess of things. Good job, Austin, good job. Go ahead and pull the dipstick tube. Oh, come on. Dipstick tube removed. Actually, this dipstick tube is already destroyed anyway. I didn't see that, but already destroyed anyway. Throw it in the bin. So, in our previous episode, we had pulled our number 4 cap. We'd also pulled this rod cap as well. We'd also pulled this cap as well to be able to see how this was. This bearing does not look that bad. This bearing was toast. I have not pulled the farthest from the front. So this one is probably going to look terrible, but it is what it is. At this point in time, it's all coming down. It's all coming apart. It doesn't really matter. Only thing I'm worried about would be if one of the rods has been overheated or if there's been damage to the crank. Okay, so there's a couple things I'm worried about. Rods have been overheated, damage to the crank from a oil pressure issue or bearing that's spun or that's damaged, or it's eaten something, and cylinder bore. As long as those 3 things are okay, and a 140,000 mile modern motor is not like a 140,000 mile old school motor. You know, an AMC V8 or a small block Chevy or a whatever, it doesn't matter. Anything back from the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, the metallurgy in the blocks was not nearly what it was as we've gotten to now. So this probably is okay as far as cylinder bores. Now, obviously, I will hit it with a dingle ball hone, and I will do what I can as long as the cylinder walls are okay. But I don't expect there to be many issues with 144,000 miles. So I'm just going to start taking these rods off, and keep your rod and your cap together. Keep them oriented the way they need to be oriented, and we'll get this thing torn apart. Let's go ahead and pull that one first. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Get a whiff of that special kind of stank that comes from rods and main caps specifically. There we go. All right, moment of truth. Yep, it's hosed. It's actually not as bad as I was expecting. But it's bad. There you go. There's our rearmost. Now what's concerning above all of this is right there. See that change in coloration? That usually denotes heat. Right here. Right there. Now there's nothing, I mean there's a little bit of a ridge right there where it caught something. But there's nothing terribly bad about that. So, whew. We look at the crankshaft itself. There's nothing I feel there that's bad. That feels pretty smooth. Obviously there's a little bit of scoring, but that would probably clean up with a polish. So, I think we're going to be okay. I'll go ahead and rip down all the rest of this stuff and we'll see what our final results are. Well, and just like that, I can still snap my fingers even with oil and grease on my hands. That is impressive. I got the whole set of pistons out of this thing. Crankshaft rolls over. Obviously nice and easy because there's nothing onto it. Yep, just dropped that in the oil. That's great. Oh, and a socket came off. Of course it did. Oh, yeah. Oh. Austin. You moron. We'll put that right here. Let's set that right there for now. Alright. So aside from me being an idiot, crankshaft looks reasonably good. I'm not feeling anything other than in between the cylinders here where I can catch a fingernail on anything. Everything seems to be pretty good. There's no forward-backward play, which is nice. So thrust bearing is probably just fine. It's got a little bit of, yeah, that just comes off. So, I'll be honest, rod bearings look great. They look great. Only a couple of them, and oddly, the front couple cylinders seem to show any kind of brass at all. One of these guys here, this is the front cylinder. There's a little bit of brass just starting to show through there. I can get you a good shot of that, but hopefully. Can you see that? All of them move freely. No stuck wrist pins. Everything seems to be fine. Skirt wear isn't horrible. This one you can see a little bit of brass on that one as well. So, not terrible. Bearings, I would say on the rods, I would probably honestly have been just fine tossing some oil in this thing and saying, let's rock and roll. That one rod cap, which was 4, was pretty bad. 3 beside it wasn't bad. The rearmost behind it wasn't bad. This one has a little bit of kind of weird wear on it. Not that one. This one. Where you can see the wearing, how that's real linear here. That's kind of odd. And that was on the second most. So that was this guy here. I'll show you that crankshaft. I'll rotate that around again for you. Oh, hopefully you guys enjoy this kind of stuff. It's been a nice calm evening. I haven't had music on it all night. I've just been sitting here doing work. So this is the cylinder that's, or the bearing that's got that kind of weird striation on it. You know, I don't know. Pull the crankshaft out of this sucker, and we done. Pop the rear, one piece rear main seal loose. Make sure to lift with your back, not with your knees, at a rapid twisting motion. Guys, I think we are going to be in luck here. Obviously just knock that bearing out of there, but those don't look bad in any way, shape, or form. So, cylinder walls look visually okay. I can roll this thing around here real quick, but nothing that's immediately concerning. I don't see any obvious cracking in the block. I don't see an immediate... actually, you can also see the cam bearings. Actually don't look terrible. So, that's also nice. Alright, if we look at our cylinder walls here, not a ton of ring ridge, but there's also not much in the way of cross hatching left on these cylinder walls. So I don't know if we're going to get lucky there or not. I don't know. We'll have to mic those cylinder walls and see. I mean, there's not really any ring ridge to speak of. Like, it's just beautiful. But what can happen is taper on these cylinders, where instead of being a complete uniform cylinder, it'll have a spot where it goes out and then in, and you'll end up with a cylinder, a piston that goes out, that kind of the rings flare up, and that's not what you want to have. So you need to test this with a bore gauge to make sure that everything is okay, and that's going to be the big unknown at this point in time. I would say crankshaft is fine with a polishing. I'm not worried about it. There's nothing I see there. Camshaft bearings, we'll put cam bearings in it. Main bearings, we'll put main bearings in it. Rod bearings, we'll put rod bearings in it. If the bores are okay and we can reuse those pistons, we're golden. The problem is going to be if these cylinders are really badly out of round, or they're worn too much that we can't just put a set of rings in it and take up that compensation, because the rings will, hopefully you guys understand this, but the piston sits here in the middle and the rings sit around the outside, and they're what actually seal against the cylinder wall. It's not the piston that seals against the cylinder wall, it's the rings that seal against it. So they can only expand so far and only take up so much slack. So when you get to a number, insert number here, when you get to a number where those rings just don't seal as well anymore, you end up with blow-by and all kinds of other issues, and then you're just spending a bunch of money to be able to have a big problem with your engine. It's going to be low on power, it's going to burn oil, yada, 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 yada. So, that's the question. And I don't know the answer to that. We will have to adventure that another day. But from what I see so far, I am honestly pretty damn happy. I think I did okay. I don't think I'm ruined in any way. Heads-wise, they seem like they're in decent shape. Block seems like it's in decent shape. Lifters seem like they're in decent shape. So all of those things are great. We'll figure out the rest of it next. Obviously, I need to clean the entire assembly. The block, I'll disassemble the heads completely. I'll clean the heads completely up. I'll probably go through and do a little bit of hand porting to them just to be able to add a little bit more flow and clean things up a little bit. Why not? I've got them out and got them apart. Might as well clean them up a little bit. If it gains me power, great. If it doesn't gain me power, who cares? All I did was wasted some hours, not any really money. So that's going to kind of be the plan at this point in time. I can reuse a lot of stuff, but I feel pretty positive about the fact that we're going to be okay. So, welcome to a 351 Windsor teardown video here on Automotive Adventures with Austin. The plan is that motor is going to go back together again with an intake, carburetor, camshaft upgrade, rocker upgrade, obviously push rods, and it's going to also get 100 shot of nitrous set up on it, and that's going to go in my 1988 5-speed swapped Ford LTD Crown Victoria. Not trying to light the world on fire here, not going to make the world's most amazing power, not going to be doing anything crazy, but what we're trying to do here is something budget friendly that's going to make a lot of fun, and I'm going to have a great time driving it, which already I do. Even with a 302 in it that only makes 100 horsepower, it's still a blast to drive. It's going to be even more fun to build this thing and have fun with it. Also, I need to be careful about the fact that that is a original T5 from 1993, as far as I know. It can only take so much torque, so I can't really build this anything that's going to be crazy, or I'm going to break that transmission, which I may do anyway. And then I've got to spend $3 grand or $4 grand on a Tremec to be able to replace it. And then we put a 427 stroker kit with this forged internals in this, and we put it with a bunch of nitrous. And then there goes the budget. But that's a story for another day. Anyways, guys, thanks very much for hanging out with me this evening, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Maybe you learned a thing or two. I don't do a whole lot of this kind of thing on this channel, but this is really kind of just vlog style in the day of a life of an actual real life hot rodder. Like, this is what I do all day long every day. I drive hot rods, I work on hot rods, I own hot rods, I tear hot rods apart, and I have friends help me put them back together again. That's what this channel is all about. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, somebody who daily drivers this kind of stuff, I'd love to see you again on another video. If you made it this far, thank you very much. You literally watching this stuff helps me pay to be able to do this stuff. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart and the tip of my beard. Thank you very much. I truly appreciate you. Hope to see you again on another one. Take care. Bye-bye.